Start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tier 3 Round 8 at Silverstone for MRC. We've already had the Tier 1 and Tier 2 races this week on Monday night in clear skies. And now we can see it is raining for the Tier 3 drivers. They're not going to be very happy, but on the flip side, I am happy because I am joined by my T2 compadre and joining me again from last week, Gav. Good evening.
Good evening, Mark. Good evening, everybody. And as soon as that screenshot came on and we seen the rain, I'm thinking to myself, we're back in Sochi from the weekend. Although a bit of rain never hurt anybody, but it's going to make for an interesting quali.
It is. The guys are not going to be amused, I don't feel, the Tier 3 drivers. Apparently, I'm getting told that it's not just a wet qualifying, a wet race. So this is going to be very interesting. The Tier 1 drivers have got away with it all season, and unfortunately, Tier 3 seems to get the weather.
Exactly, and it's gonna be interesting now if we think on Tier 1 and Tier 2 flat through the likes of Abbey, through the likes of Cops into Maggots and Beckett's, but in these conditions it's not going to be as straightforward as it was in Tier 1 and Tier 2, so we're going to definitely have even more spicy racing than we did in Tier 1 and Tier 2, which were already action-packed.
There were, a lot of overtakes, a lot of late breaks, a lot of good drives, but very clean from both. Them both tiers, so it's going to be fun. I think we're going to be interested to see, has anybody done any practice in the wet? Has anybody done any wet weather running? Have they got a wet setup? This is going to be very interesting to see how they all get on. I think we're starting to see some of the drivers leaving the pits. We have Connor in the Alpine already leaving, and on the intermediate tyres, so it's not too heavy at the moment, which is nice, which is good to see. When they're putting the intermediate tyres on, as we can see.
Yeah, so one of the we've got Carl out in the Aston, and obviously Connor and Tomo as well. So maybe a couple of sighter laps there. But
you're right. Yeah, the intermediate tyres do last quite a few laps. You could do potentially 3 fast laps on those tyres, and they will still give you plenty of grip. So we shall see how they get on. On board with Carl, sporting a bit of black in his helmet this week for one of our competitors, but one of our members. We've lost some friends recently, so showing support, which is lovely to see. And
Indeed.
that again stands for what we do with the league of supporting everybody. Joyful Hell as well. Nice to see her racing again this week. Very bright liveried helmet she's got.
Can't beat a bit of a luminous green.
Very true. Couple of stand-ins this week. We have Jeannie Rob Atwood from Tier 1 stepping in as a late reserve and stepping into one of the drivers. Unfortunately couldn't make it. Stube Morgan still in the pits at the moment. Another AlphaTauri driver that has stepped in, and also Guy is in this week in the Ferrari for Dirty Harry. Unfortunately could not make it. So only 3 reserves, so it's nice to have nearly a full grid. What's going to be interesting, and I'm sure not just myself and Gav here, but everybody watching is going to be interested to see how the title fight plays out in this round with Dumas Hornet and Jacob Jones. Only 7 points, I do believe, between them so far, with 3 rounds, including this, left to go.
Just Connor's first lap, quick lap there, went wide into Abbey. So again, testing the limits of the track and the grip that's there.
Yeah, I think the racing line isn't always the quickest route round here, and does rubber in, and you do get the bit of the dry line very quickly, as we're on board with Nico Lack at the moment, going through Chapel onto the Hangar Straight. I must say the graphics this season are looking a lot better in the rain. So
Definitely.
One thing Codemasters have done well in EA has actually improved some graphics. Maybe not the gameplay, as we saw on Monday night with a few glitches. But we've got a few drivers already on their fast laps. We're going to go on board with the McLaren of Man. He's going through, I think it's Village there. Going to go into the Wellington Straight. Of course, DRS will be disabled in the wet weather. So we're going to see slower qualifying times than we have seen in Tier 1 and Tier 2, simply because of the lack of DRS at the moment that we have. Keeps it nice and neat. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, Mark, it'll be interesting to see if anyone does decide after their banker laps to venture out onto the wet tyres, just to see if the difference is there. I mean, it's at what Connor just does a 140, Carl does a 138, so it almost
there,
looks
it is there, yeah. And you're right. And I think those times they're only a few seconds off what the Tier 2 and Tier 1 drivers were doing. So I think that must definitely signal to me that as man struggling for grip there to getting the power down on the hanger straight, but it still signal that intermediate is probably the best tyre tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And just watching the two Williams getting close to each other, just coming out of club. We're just coming out of club just now.
Yeah, a few lap times coming. Keeps it nice and neat, manages to use the curb and not get it spinning, and there out the last corner. Man starts with a 41.0. But as we said, he potentially could go through a few laps and with these intermediate tyres as we ride on board with his teammate, with Ryan.
And the good thing, and again, you're looking at some of the camera angles of the broadcast that we get, and you've got that kind of rain effect on the broadcast stream as well, which is it's a nice touch.
It is. Yeah, they have done something right. Unfortunately, not everything. There's a lot of traffic. Haven't done everything right. A lot of traffic out there that Ryan has had to negotiate around. Luckily, all of it on the Wellington Straight, so it shouldn't have held him up, and all drivers moving out the way very quickly, which is good to see. No one holding each other up in qualifying. Everyone using the mirrors.
Yep, again, that convertible just running slightly wide out of Cops. Again, a lot, and again, penalties are going to be key in all of this. We've seen it a bit in Austria, Mark, and the track limits and the penalties come into it. We've seen them on Tier 1 and Tier 2 again, so especially in these wet conditions, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, very true. Even Ryan there struggling for grip. Normally that's a fifth, maybe sixth gear corner, down to third, struggling for grip that much on the intermediate so early in the session that going through Chapley had to really slow it down to make the corner as he comes to end his lap. Takes a good bit of curve on the inside into Vale, going through last corner now. He keeps the power down at 140.0, puts him into 7th. Good lap from him, good opener.
Just watching Dumbest Hornet coming through, and then second, 138.4.
Good lap from him. We're going to follow from there our championship leader and title contender Jacob Jones and the Mercedes, starting his lap now. See what he's got to answer with. Did see a car up ahead. Hopefully they're on a flyer as well, and don't impede. As we reach halfway point in the session, a couple of drivers on their out laps, a couple of drivers saving tyres potentially if they think it's going to be a wet race. They want to save those intermediates. We've still got Brogan out now, Genie and Stube. They are reserves, so they are going to start at the back. I think they've mentioned they're not going to take part in qualifying, being reserve drivers.
Yeah. Just keeping an eye on Jacob there as he's going through Luffield and then into Woodcut, and it'll be good to see interesting to see if he's close enough to flat out through Cops. Brave man.
We're going to ride on board with him. He drops down to 7th, takes a good bit of curve on the inside. Good speed through that. Really good speed. There's a 40 Brogan seems to have left the session. Hopefully that's just a technical glitch and he gets back on. But Jacob showing good speed through Margaret, Beckett and Chapel Complex. 4th gear, keeps the revs low, stops the tyres from spinning up in the wet conditions as he powers down the hanger straight. Gets a little bit of a slipstream off the Haas ahead. Not sure who that is at this point. Now down into Stowe, keeps it nice and neat. Doesn't use any of the curb or the white lines as the Haas, I think, has dived into the pits. Very nice and neat from Jacob, upshifting early to keep that wheel spin down, keep the car pointing in the right direction. He crossed the line with a 137.8 provisional pole position from Jacob. Good opening lap from him. Really chuffed with that. Really, really pleased.
It will be if that's what you want for your banker lap. That's it's there. And again, if you look at the likes of Olfach and that, just 1/10 behind. So again, the rain can sometimes be a great equaliser in these games. So
yeah, very much so. Very much, and it's going to be interesting to see what the rest of the drivers can do, especially if this continues into the race. Could even be heavier. As we're on board with Fragile Tunnel, fantastic helmet design from Fragile, loving that. Very good design, very tribal. In the Aston Martin, Carl Eden's teammate, Carl up there in 5th at the moment. He's currently in the pit lane. A couple of drivers again doing 2-3 laps on these intermediates. They do seem to go quicker after a few laps.
Yeah, and I think it's just building up the confidence as well, Mark, that we know that as we've seen a few people on the out lap and maybe the first timed lap just run slightly wide, testing the limits, and I think there's good enough wear on the Inter to allow them to do that.
Yeah, very much so.
But the other thing that'll be very interesting is, I think you mentioned it, I'm just watching Man there, but just letting people go through, which is really good. But you're right about those wet versus dry setups. Who's maybe put a bit more downforce on? Silverstone's not the easiest to track.
You're right, and Jacob's gone even quicker on his second lap. It's what I'm saying about those intermediate tyres, as Fragile Tunnel goes very wide there. Hopefully didn't manage to invalidate, as we do have. I'm sure this is a dare, but we've got to go with this as Fragile. Yeah, unfortunately was invalidated that lap. But have we got Morgan going out of the pits on the medium tyres? Is he doing a Lando? Is he going to get a lap in? We'll see if he's out. He's currently in the pits, but we'll keep an eye on that one. See if he, if the line rubber's in, and then we'll see what happens with that. So we'll go back on board with Dak Convertible. He's currently in 15, hasn't set a lap time yet. Same with Joyful Hell. Brogan is on his outlap. Luckily, he managed to get back into the session.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on Nico Lack, who's on a decent run at the moment. About 100.
Crosses the line of 1:39.7, puts him in 11th at the moment, but half a tenth off Simba in 10th. As we mentioned, if it is a wet race, that could potentially even out. It doesn't make a difference, from your dries to if you're starting the soft or medium tyres. This will be like you mentioned, they have very good leveler.
Yeah, no, definitely. And about 10? Yeah, about 10's not far off the dry running pace. I mean, we look at the onboards and Nico Lack just diving into the pits there. I think backed out of that lap, but again. Is it worth a punt on a set of mediums or hards just to test it? 4 minutes to go. I'll be honest.
It could be fun. I would do softs. If you're going to do it, you do the softs. I'm interested to see if Morgan leaves the pits, to be honest. But we're right on board with Dacobert. He was 4/10 up already through Sector 1 as Red Car Rambo's had it coming together with Fragile Tunnel somewhere in the lap. We didn't see a yellow flag pop up. So that could have been slowing down for each other and just getting it wrong in the wet conditions. Easy to understeer or to lose the rear.
Yeah, I think they were both coming into the pits, so I wonder if it's the good old as we slow down for the pits.
Potentially, yeah, it could be. It's a quick yellow flag in Sector 2. That's quickly gone. Maybe someone running wide. Stack Convertible's run very wide there. That'll surely invalidate his lap as he comes through the last couple of corners. Still going to continue on. Could potentially go for threes. Connor's gone. Dak Convertible goes 7th place for Dak Convertible. The 1:38.7. Big improvement on his last lap by about 2-3 seconds there. So he'll be really chuffed to go there as Connor's retired. And you mentioned Guy there.
Yeah, Guy and Connor came together just in Farm, just before Village. It's very weird. I cut to it just, and Connor lost his front wing, and Guy's probably does have some damage there as well. But
he's not sure we're on board with Guy at the moment. There's nothing. He's on an outlap as well, so whether that's been unsighted or not sure about that. I'm sure we'll see some coverage later on.
I'm watching Carl's decided to go in the mediums. He's braving it, but he's squirreling.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to watch. And Morgan has also left the pit lane on the medium tyres. He's trying to keep out the way at the moment of everybody coming through.
Yeah. I'm watching Carl as he comes through Brooklands into Luffield, and it's really just. It's almost the analogy of put the egg under the accelerator pedal, just gently, and let's put it this way, I don't think the crossover's there for the mediums yet, or even the softs.
I think for the drivers such as Morgan, he's a tier 2 driver. He's coming into reserve and he's even lost it through Luffield. We're just going to do some donuts now, Morgan. Just at low speeds, not much heat in the tyres at the moment. But it was worth a punt, worth a go. Yeah. And I think for someone that didn't really have anything to lose, was go on board with Joyful Hell. Unfortunately, she hasn't set a lap time yet. She had a good race out last time in Austria.
She did, indeed.
She'll be looking to build on it this time round. As well, Thatcher's suddenly gone with a pole at 1:36.6, 8 tenths quicker than Jacob Jones.
Wow.
What a good lap from him. Fantastic lap. As Jacob is also on an out lap now. Looks like he's on. Looking at Joyful Hell's losing a bit of grip there. Bit of understeer. Yeah. Having to check it and go back. She's posted lap time.
Just keeping around
again. So a couple of drivers further down in the league. We've got Red Car Rambo. He has got a 5-place grid penalty, as we saw earlier. Fanning down there in 14th, Luke Shard in the other Mercedes in 16th, Mann in 13th. So the McLaren drivers not necessarily having the best of times and best of qualifying sessions so far. But hopefully, like I say, there's still time if they get round now. The man won't get out, but Red Car is on a lap as well on board with our Northern Irish compatriot Winky.
Just keeping an eye on Jacob. He's 600ths down on his best time through Sector 1. He's just coming on to the old pit straight now, so he's got a bit of time to make up.
He does, but we're on board. Winky goes very wide into turn 3 and he's got his teammate as he loses the back end. Well held, Winky, but I think he'll have to bail on this lap, unfortunately. As we're going to jump up to Jacob Jones. We've got first and second in the championship, currently in second and third place on the grid, 6 tenths between them. But we're right on board with Jacob as he's fighting for that pole position.
Yeah, he's just a tenth down in Sector 2 on his best as well, so unless he can magic something out in this final sector.
Yeah, on board's coming through the last couple of corners, keeps it nice and neat. Lewis at the back, little bit of a twitch of oversteer through there, well held, and he's going to cross the line half a second further down. So the gauntlet is on Dumas Hornet. He's actually backed out of his lap, so the only person close now is Simba, and he's 4 tenths down currently through Sector 1. Now this could either mean that the rain's increasing, there's not enough grip on the track. He could have made a mistake somewhere. It's very, very easy as he runs a little bit wide. That'll possibly invalidate his lap, and he bails. Brogan's gone up to 5th. Really good lap. Brogan showed a lot of fantastic driving in his qualifying and the last couple of races as well. Really come on this season, so it's fantastic to see young Brogan up there in 5th in the Alpha.
Yeah, he was. I think he gained about near enough a second on his previous best. I just joined him as he was coming through club, and he was a little bit of a rear end step out, but he got on top of it. So a really good 5th place there for him.
He did, yeah. So now we're riding on board with Gaga, the next one to finish his lap. He was about 3 tenths up, and he lost quite a bit in the last sector, so he will stay 6th. We'll jump down to Nico Lark. I think he's backed out. He's got a Red Bull, I do believe, ahead. So that could be him in 8th. We go Dak convertible on a quick lap on the old pit straight. Again, a little bit of traffic ahead. Not sure if they're going to be on a fast lap of the Ferrari ahead of him. That could be Fanning, I think it is. Yeah, Fanning eventually moves out of the way. That hopefully it hasn't hurt that convertible too much.
And Nico Lax just dived into the pits, so he's given up that run.
Yeah, we're going to stick on board with that convertible. 4/10 up through sector 2. This could be promising. Could move him quite a bit up the grid if he finishes this lap. As Thomas Hornick got another lap in and takes second place from Jacob Jones on the 1:37.1. Right at the death there. And that convertible's bailed. Bailed on his lap time. He was up, so he must have made a mistake through Stowe and has left now. So and that's it. Qualifying is over. Everyone has crossed the line. We've got O'Fatch takes pole position in the wet here at Silverstone. Thomas Hornet with a late lap time takes second ahead of championship leader Jacob Jones. Simba, Mark Dennison in 4th place. Brogan, fantastic lap again from him in 5th. Guy in 6th in the Ferrari. Carl in 7th. Nico Lack 8th. That convertible 9th. And Tomo 222 in 10th place. Going down the order, Winky. Connor unfortunately retired in the session. He starts 12th. Ryan did improve on his lap time. Red Car Rambo, he starts 13th. The second Ferrari of Fanning in 14th. The second McLaren of Mann in 15th. Luke Shard in the Mercedes 16th. Joyful Hell. Gene Genie, Stube and Fragile Tunnel round out the grid. So it's going to be interesting to see what the weather is.
Yeah, and so we've got a couple of those grid penalties. I think will come into it. So for Guy and Red Car, which again will be interesting. But yeah, we've got 3, 4, 5 very quick drivers. The top 5, 1.6 seconds cover them.
Yeah, quite. I think the wet weather, amplifies those gaps a little bit in the wet. I think they're normally a lot closer than that.
Definitely.
So it's going to look forward to seeing how we go. Now it's nice to see a lot of comments on our YouTube, through our stream. So it's nice to have people on board. Ollie Poole, Georgia, and Martin, and Carl as well is tuning in while he's racing. Please keep focused, mate. You don't even listen to us, but nice to have you joining us. Any questions, any comments that you want to throw to us, anything you guys say, be great to hear from you.
Yeah, and Silverstone's really changed since they did. Oh, the rain looks a bit harder.
This it could be starting on the wet. This could really throw things in the mix.
Yeah, I think Silverstone, since the remake of Silverstone in 2010, I think they were doing it. The first race was 2011. It's really become more of a It always was a technical circuit, but it's become even more now with that kind of new first sector into the loop, and then the good old sort of Copse and Maggots Beckett's complex. So I'm excited to see what happens. That first lap is going to be a very interesting one.
It is, you're right. So let's ride on board as we're going to start. As ever, the formation lap from O'Fatch gets away. Everybody on the intermediate tyres. It could be one where potentially could take through quite a long way through the race. You say a 1 or 2 stop strategy available, but a lot of the guys will have saved intermediate tyres for the race.
Yeah, they're going to have to do a lot of tyre warming. I think the last thing you want to do is, especially in the wet, suddenly get into the hard stop at Village and then the loop and not have any temperature in those tyres and brakes.
Yeah, so let me run you through the order again. O'Fatch takes pole position with Dumas Hornets, who's second in the championship, second on the grid. Jacob Jones, championship leader, right behind him in third, with Simba in fourth, Brogan in fifth, Carl Edens in sixth. Good qualifying from both Brogan and Carl. I'm sure they were battling last race, so they're back together again. Nico Lack in seventh, Jack Convertible eighth, Tomo 222 in ninth in the other Alpine. Winky rounds out the top 10. Guy with his 5-place penalty starts in 11th. Connor in 12th. Fanning in 13th. The now lead McLaren of Mann in 14th. Luke Shard in 15th. Joyful Hell. Gene Genie. Red Car Rumble after his 5-place penalty. And then Stube and Fragile Tunnel brings up the grid.
Yeah, just O'Fatch just on coming through Copse there, just lost the back end, so really they're not taking it easy on this formation lap. It just shows you one snap of oversteer.
Yeah, we've seen it before, and they'll really need to get temperature into these intermediate tyres. Otherwise, it is literally going to be Bambi on ice through the first couple of couple of corners. But hopefully, these guys have got a reputation, Tier 3, of being one of the cleanest and most respectful tiers. They have got a reputation for the least safety cars, I think, this season. So they want to keep that one going. I know they definitely use that against the other tier drivers. They'll love that, having that label, so they'll want to keep it. As we'll line up now on the grid. This computer takes over.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I think I'll sit on the TV pod of probably Simba just to see what we get from the start. But those 5 red lights are going to be going soon. And I'll tell you one thing: if it was me, my heart would be going right now.
Yeah, just to get that clean start, at least wheel spin possible. But here we go. We've got the lights in the background there. 3, 4, 5 lights. And we are ready to go racing as Brogan joins just in time, luckily for him. And now we've got the drivers are away. Fatch takes a good start. It's a little bit of a glitch with Brogan leading, but we've got Dumas. Fatch. Jacob Jones gets a really good start. Tries to go around the outside in turn 1 of Dumas Hornet. Makes that move. Then Carl Edens moves away up to 5th at the moment, but we're running now with Fatch. Got the drivers running wide under heavy braking.
Yeah, Simba lost it just off the grid. Was on board, so he's dropped down to 15th at the moment, unfortunately, from 4th.
Yeah, that convertible has taken Carl Edens there. Now, but Fatch, Jacob Jones, Dumbest Hornet. It's going to be key for the championship. Jacob Jones getting ahead of Dumbest Hornet into turn 1. Just seem to have that much more grip going around the outside. And a few places moving further. We've got Tomo 222 battling there with Winky as he nearly loses it out of Luffield. Well held from Winky. He's moved up a couple of places already. He'll be chuffed with his start. As Rekka Rambo's moved up too as well. We've seen Stube and Joyful held. Great start from both of those guys. That's great. And Man as well moving up places. We've got a few Dark Convertible really on a charge already. Has now got past Dumas Hornet. This is going to be, could potentially have a lot of ramifications for the title hunt. Jacob Jones already only 8/10 back from Fatch. I'm quite interested to see where the glitch came from. Brogan just got ahead of, a second ahead of everybody else. So, not sure how that worked.
It's a strange one, Mark. When I was on board with Simba on the grid, before the lights went off, Brogan was suddenly in the lead. And there's it's not showing a drive-through penalty, so it's a strange one.
It is. I don't know what we could even potentially do anything about that, to be perfectly honest.
No.
The lights will have gone green for him, and and you can see him there at the bottom, going through the bottom of the screen. We're riding with Jacob Jones as he really loses a front end under braking, really twitchy, but keeps it going. Simba has pitted, must have had damage from that opening lap spin.
Yeah, I think a bit of front wing damage, which is unlucky. The 2 Ferraris, 9th and 10th now, Fanning and Guy. They were picked them up just going through Cops into Maggots and Beckett's, fighting with Nico Lack and Connor. But
and Man as well, yeah. And Stube already 3-second time penalty. It's very difficult to be consistently quick and keep it within those track limits at times. That is such a balancing act, as already Fatch is really closing down Brogan.
That's how again, looking at some of the position gains, so that convertible up 4, we've got Fanning up 4, we obviously got Stube up 5. Joyful Hell made a good start, but it's just kind of dropped back down to 18th, unfortunately. But
could have had a little bit of a moment, but she'll get back up there without a doubt. So we've got Dumas Hornet now starting to try to pressure Dark Convertible. We're going to ride on board with Fatch. He is right on the gearbox of Brogan. I think he'll be, I don't use the term annoyed, but he'll be a bit peeved. I'm not sure, as Brogan goes very, very wide, really outbroke himself, and now Fatch just takes that inside line and gets past quite easily there, but as Jacob does as well. And now Brogan down to 3rd. I think they'll be relieved, those two, from that, because as Ryan Boy Brogan's really struggling early on in these really wet conditions. As a yellow flag is set to 3, that could be Man in the McLaren. Could have gone round and dropped a few places.
Yeah, and it's very easy even in the dry to outbrake yourself as you come in through Vale and then into Club, and in the wet it's even more easy.
Yeah, as we watch Brogan now really going down the order, really struggling. Looks like, and he's well held. Seems to have a bit of a connection glitch as well. I don't know if he's overheated his tyres, but he's gone from leading on lap 1 down to 10th suddenly. Under a lot of pressure, the Ferrari guy's really moving up. Yeah, he seems to have overheated his tyres somewhat. That's forced Nico Lack wide. But this will also allow Connor to have a sniff, and he's gone round and a little bit of contact with Connor. I did see a bit of wing damage there.
Yep, he's just in Luffield, Mark. The two came together.
Yeah, they did. We're riding on board with them. We're on board with Connor, trying to have a look, see if there's any damage on his front wing. Doesn't seem to be. A little bit of understeer through cops, but hopefully he got away with it. I hope it was just a spark that was thrown up rather than damage. Yeah, but now the Ferrari drivers 8th and 9th, good opening laps from them. 3 and 4 places ahead now.
They're playing a good team game there as well. Kind of, as I said, watched them a couple of times going through the likes of cops and everything, and one is following the other. It's almost like it's synchronous driving. They are following each other's tyre marks.
Yeah, it's nice to see we're going to ride on board with Carl. He's only 8/10 off the back of Tomo in the lead Alpine. We've also got Jacob Jones and O'Fatch kind of clearing off a little bit into the distance. Jacob 4.4 seconds ahead of Dak Convertible in third at the moment, as Brogan's now retired. Yeah, he was struggling. We were right on board, and he was struggling with his tyres. He seemed to have overheated the rears quite a bit and was really struggling. So I must have just lost that, unfortunately, into the wall. That's really unfortunate. After a fantastic qualifying up into about, I think it was 5th there. So I'll be really, really disappointed.
And him and Gingini ended up was on board with Brogan just as he was coming into the pits, and he, I think, collected the rear end of Gingini, and I think both got 5-second penalties potentially for speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah, we can see Gingini is in the pits now. So
starting to spread out a bit though.
Yeah, a little bit. I think Jacobs had a bit of an issue. He was only 1.5 seconds behind, and now 5 seconds behind O'Fatch. Yeah. So we're looking to close that back. That Convertible now only 2.7 with Dumas Hornet, obviously championship contender, right on his rear wing. But we're going to keep an eye on this gap. Obviously, Dumas Hornet fighting for the championship. He had the slipstream. He dives to the inside. Will he keep it tight? Obviously, very easy to understeer in there and get it wrong, but no, very clean racing. And the has still defence from Dak Convertible. Now Dumas Hornet's going to try. He's not. Thinks better of it.
I tell you, you'd be a brave man, Mark, going into there after the. But they were really clean racing, though. I mean, I cut to it just as they were coming through Stowe, and it was really good, clean racing, respectful of each other's position on track.
It was, but all this battling, especially through that part of the track, has allowed Tomo to close up as well with Carl. Yeah. Carl's it's pretty handy in these conditions, as we're watching Dumas Hornet now diving up the inside, and he's going to be on the outside. A little bit of contact, and Dak Convertible's now spun, but he gets it pointing in the right direction pretty quickly. So he's in 8th, and now Dumas Hornet really under pressure from Tomo. He didn't get the best exit himself. So now he's going to be on the defence. He didn't defend as now Tomo dives to the inside, and what a great move into it's a Buckland. Sorry, I lose my corner names. Yeah, but this is also and then Lovefield. But now we've got Carl. Now he's going to be sensing it. Now he knows Dumas Hornet's lost a place there. He's seen Tomo. He was stalking Tomo.
Oh, and now Winky's gone round on the old pit straight as well, Mark.
That Convertible, he's retired.
Oh, so the two Hasses. The worst possible sort of couple of corners for them.
Yes, full safety cars come out now. We're going to quickly nip down to Fragile Tunnel and see if we can see we're going with Marnie. Yeah, it's all pit straight there.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, Mark. If it was you, and I'll cover it. If it was me and you driving, would you dive into the pits and change for a new set of inters, or is it just that too much early? 21 laps still to go, so Jacob hasn't, O'Fatch hasn't.
I think I would. I think you don't have much, he's got a good gap to Jacob Jones. He's got 7 seconds. Yep. I think I would potentially jump into the pits. If you wanted to do potentially a two-stop, Tom. We see there, get the speeding under the safety car. Got to drive to the Delta at the moment. He hasn't actually picked up the safety car yet, or Fat. So he's still got this lap to go. Oh, there it is. He has picked it up now. Nearly didn't see it by looking at that when we were jumping on board. But it's nice to see the Aston Martin back out. Yes. I think, lap 6, 20 laps is a long way to take the intermediate tyres. I think if this was a few laps later, I would take that risk. Possibly too early now. Maybe that's what the drivers are thinking. If they've seen, if they decide to go onto the one stop, which I think maybe the safety car at this stage could lend itself to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Winky's been in, obviously, after the sort of spin on the old pit straight. Man's been in as well, so...
He is, and we're going to have a quick look. He's gone into... A few of them have gone into new intermediate tyres. So, it's going to be... I think watching their progress now is going to be quite interesting to see if they do decide to pit again towards the end, or if they can make these stretch to another 20 laps. Also, obviously, they're 1 or 2 behind the safety car. There's going to be a few gaps now from that.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, when you look at it, so you've got, looking at some of the sort of fastest laps, you've got Winky, who's done a 1:41.7, who's got speed in there, Simba as well. Obviously, the first lap, unfortunately, kind of did it there, but again, it's at least they've got 6 or 7 laps out of those inters. They're now got another 20 to go. It's possible. Would we want it? It might make the last 5 laps a bit of a harem scarum.
It would. I think I'm going to be interested to watch is Tomo. They're lying in third, the lead Alpine, with that drive-through penalty. Obviously, he's going to have to take that 3 laps within 3 laps after the safety car comes in. The question is to see if he's got the outright pace, excuse me, to either get ahead of the 2 or that's ahead of him at the moment, or go with them if he believes they've got the overall race pace, to give himself as much a gap as possible and not lose as much time when it comes down to, obviously, the field's going to be bunched up.
Yeah.
So if he can get himself up there, there's a lot of penalties as well at the moment. So we've got Nico Lack with 5 seconds and Morgan there, Stube in 8th and 9th, both with... Stube had 3 seconds through a track one, so I think he received on lap 1. And now Morgan as well has now got the extra 5. So that could have been a safety car incident. Obviously in the wet, it's even more important to leave gaps to the drivers ahead. And just in case of heavy braking, we know the safety cars are very, very slow through the corners and have a tendency to actually almost brake mid-corner, which can really catch people out. But the drivers are catching up now, so might expect to see the safety car potentially come in this lap as they're severe collision with Jacob Jones. Now we went on board with Fats there. Now I'm just going to look on Jacob Jones. It doesn't seem to be any damage on his front wing as we can see, unless it's very light damage.
Yeah, I can't see anything.
He was weaving on the old straight, and we just cut to him as they were quite close. Now I didn't see if they were that close or not, so it must have been a little bit of there.
Yeah, I think just see now. So Genie's the last one, just coming around Cops just now, so he'll definitely catch the pack. So is it a bit late? Could it be a late safety car in call?
Could be. We have seen it. It is a late call. Safety car's coming in this lap, so the field will start bunching. Fact will take over the duties, and we have seen drivers go at different points. We've seen drivers go straight now before the last corner, and drivers go through the last corner. So he's backing the field up. Not going to go before that. Didn't want to try to break away and make a mistake, so he's going to put the throttle down now, which he has.
He going
through the last corner. Takes Jacob with him, and Tomo as well. Both get a good breakaway there.
Yep, Fanning just at a moment.
Yeah, he's lost a place already to Nico. And Red Car as well is dropping down the order. So he's had a spin in the last corner.
Yes.
He was having a good recovery run, so he had a decent qualifying. He's going to be kicking himself there and hoping some of these guys trip themselves up.
Yeah, just Just on board with Guy there, Mark. Just coming out of the loop, and again a little bit of a bit twitchy. Again, it's just building up that heat in the tyres again and getting that grip and confidence that they had.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. So we're going to keep on board with Thatch at the moment. We've got Jacob Jones, 6/10, and Tomo all really close together. Dumasoni's going to be trying, was caught a little bit napping at the start. He's going to be trying his best to get onto the back of these. Obviously, he knows Jacob's ahead of him. He knows he's losing points in the championship. And obviously, now we've got crunch time with 2 races left after this. Got 7 points at the moment as Guy now gets a penalty for track limits.
Yeah, he just cut the inside curb as he went through Beckett's. And he's Nico Lack's just taking him down the hanger straight. He was just slow out because he cut that corner, then kind of left him a bit off centre for Chapel. So, unfortunately, but the 2 Ferraris still 7th and 8th.
Yes, they are at the moment. So Nico's back up into 6th. Only 8/10 off Carl. Carl's going to want to go with Dumasona, who is closing down on Tomo at the moment from 3rd and 4th position.
Yeah.
Sometimes that safety car could potentially help, because if drivers are, spinning up the tyres, really pushing them a little bit more, could help to cool them a little bit and reset it. Drivers use the safety car to reset. As Guy and Nico having another little battle. Guy's got back past. These are the closest battles on the track at the moment. So we're going to stick with this as Nico gets a decent drive onto the Wellington straight. He's in the slipstream. Is he going to have a go? He's not. He's going to quite happy to stick behind and play the percentage game.
Yeah,
Still a long way to go.
Yeah, Tomo's got this lap or next lap to decide when he wants to do his drive-through penalty. So he's half a second clear of Thomas Hornick's 3 seconds clear of Carl.
It's about 30 seconds with a pit stop, so to call it over 30 seconds, so it'd be a 30-second stop. It would bring him out last at the moment, and of course he can't take his pit stop in that drive-through, so he'd be hoping for another safety car later on, as we're still on board with Guy, who is right on the back of Carl. Doesn't seem to have got his tyres ready just yet. But Guy right in the slipstream. Is he going to have a go into Stowe? He's not. He's going to stick behind, maybe go the long way around.
Tomo's in for his drive-through. I got a couple of yellow flags in sector 2 and 3, but nothing obvious.
At the moment, Guy dropped a little bit back, and Dumas Hornets dropped a place to Tomo. That was him going to the drive-through. My apologies.
Yeah. And it's such a slow pit area as well, 37 miles an hour. You almost feel as if you're just crawling the whole way. He's just going, come on, let me get on that loud pedal again, let me go. Yeah,
it's very like it does seem to just last forever. It's one that does lend itself to the 1-stop rather than the 2, as now Jacob gets a 3-second. Thatch has got one as well, so Dumas Hornet's going to see that. Knows within that 3-second window, and he's really going to be chasing him down. He's had a good couple of laps since the safety car restart as Thomas Hornet, and now he's going to see that and really be chasing him down on the road. Carl as well now.
Yeah, just as he came into Brooklands again, just took too much of the inside curb at Brooklands and just got that time penalty. But it's so easy to do, so easy to do. But you were talking about the kind of the heat cycle and the spinning up, and you're right, because they put about 6 laps of good solid racing and allowed them to cool down, probably allows them to extend it. I'll tell you one thing, I'm sitting on board with Thomas Hornet at the moment, looking at the rain. He's lost it! Oh!
Wow!
Through Chapel.
We were also on board, and he's now backwards, gets it spinning in the right direction, but he's going to be losing places hand over fist, and it will have overheated those rear tyres trying to spin it back round. So now he loses a place now to Winky goes past. Simba a little bit further back, so he's gone from 3rd to 9th in the space of one corner, as he was really closing in, starting to pull Jacob Jones in. You could see Jacob with that 3-second time penalty, and he was really starting to get him in, as now Carl takes over 3rd place. He was looking for a strong result. He's quite decent in these tricky conditions as well, so he's going to be thanking his lucky stars, and now he'll really be getting his head down, keep Nico behind him, as we've got him only 8 tenths back, and then the 2 Ferraris line astern still trying to keep back, as the car's gone very wide, and he's almost lost the back. He's kept it. This is going to give Nico a better drive out, and car's going to be looking at defending. He'll be using his airs to get himself back up to speed. Now he's in a straight line. He does defend. He's got that straight line speed in the Aston Martin, so managed to recover that and really parks on the apex. Does not give Nico anywhere to go, so he survives another few corners, hopefully another lap. He'll be trying to regroup and get ahead yet again, but again this is allowed Guy in the first Ferrari to close on the back of Nico. This is quite interesting. Now it's going to see as we see Geico go extremely wide through Copse.
So Thomas Hornet didn't pit after that spin out of Chapel, which maybe was surprising given he might have heated it, but he's now behind Winky in 9th, so possibly just try and eke this out a little bit longer. Winky ran a little bit wide there, just coming out of Beckett's and into Chapel, so I think Thomas Hornet might have him down the hanger straight.
Yeah, we're going to keep on board with Guy. Did have a look at Nico, only 3 tenths further back. Is he going to have a go into Vale? He's not. He's going to keep it. That gap now at the front has extended to 3 seconds. Jacob won't mind. I know he's after the win, he's after a strong result, but he's seen Thomas Hornet drop down the order, so he knows he's going to be making points on his title rival. And then we've got Carl currently in 3rd, defending from Nico Lackers. Gaga nearly collects the back under braking, as Nico's gone very deep into there, managed to pull it back to the apex and runs wide. This could give Gaga riding on board with him now a chance.
Corners round, unfortunately, and Winky had a moment on the Hamilton straight, so
yeah, they've got right down. That's allowed Thomas Hornet back up into 7th, and we're sticking on board with Gaga and Nico. As Gaga, he's going to try the switchback. He is.
Excellent
Nico
move.
runs wide. He's not made it stick yet. He got the drive. This is going to continue all the way down. That is fantastic driving from Gaga. Gets past Nico Lack. Carl will be breathing a bit of a sigh of relief. Those two battling will hopefully allow him to get away a little bit more from those guys. He wanted a really strong result as well. He's currently 3rd in the drivers' standings, so he wants another one to keep that. We'll give him a world of confidence. But now we've got Guy only 3 tenths back. Both of these, Guy and Nico, really on a charge, but stout defending. Good speed from Carl so far.
Yeah, and Dumbest Hornet now within a second of Fanning, who's 2.83 seconds behind Nico Lack. So okay, he had his spin coming out of Chapel, but Dumbest Hornet's bringing himself back in.
As Nico's dived into the pits at half race distance, so he's thinking, right, those intermediates have had enough. He's going to put on a new set and should take him now to the end of the race. That's one down for Carl to worry about. But it'll be interesting to see if the new intermediates have any effect, and if there's potential of the undercut. We saw it in a couple of the other races. I had it myself battling with Fox River 8 in the Tier 2, and he pitted quite early and went to the pits about a second behind me, as the guy has a little bit of a moment going on the Wellington Straight. That's released Carl. But the undercut really was powerful. So that was on dry tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see what Nico can do with the inters. Winky and Stu have also pitted.
He's just coming out. Nico Lack just out of the pits, served his 5 seconds penalty by the looks of things before they started work on that Alpine. So he's now just coming through the loop section. So keep an eye on his times. Yeah,
we will do. We will see what he's going to do. So if we
Dumbest Hornet's round again, just coming out of Copse.
He is. We're on board with him now. He's in.
He'll hate me for doing this. If it doesn't rain, it pours on you.
Someone had to be fair, one of us were going to make that pun tonight. I'm glad it was you. As now Man gets past him as well through Maggots and Beckett and into Chapel, and that's also allowing Tomo, after serving his drive-through, to get back through.
Fanning and Carl in the pits as well now, so deciding to call it just over half distance.
Yeah, they'll have seen Nico pit and be worried about the undercut themselves, so they'll be boxing as well. Get rid of those to try to negate that as much as possible. As now, Dumas Hornet has pit. He's had 2 spins now, so he'll be getting off those. You think, yep, now that's it, he's done.
Yeah. So Nico's just coming through Stowe just now. I think, to be honest, Carl's just coming down to the end of the pit lane and Fanning. I think they'll get out.
Yeah, we're on board with Carl now, so we're watching him exit the pit. So let's see where it's going to end him. Nico hasn't yet crossed the line. So there he is. He has now in turn 1 and 2. So Fanning and Carl, good lead. They've made that work and really covered it. As Carl goes a little bit wide on those new tyres, not getting them up to temperature just yet. As we've got Connor and Simba in 4th and 5th, having a good little battle as well with Gene Genie, who pitted under the safety cars. We've got Connor side by side with Simba down the old straight, and now they're going into. Jeez, I didn't even know what to say. I couldn't even get my words out. And now Connor going deep into that has allowed Gene Genie back into 4th. Bear in mind, Genie started almost at the back of the grid, as now Olfach is getting. That line's getting rubbered in now as Connor's all over the back of Simba.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, it's brave enough going through cops side by side with someone in the dry, let alone the 3-way in the wet.
Yeah, very much so. And unfortunately they paid the price, did Connor there. Instead of gaining 1, he's lost 1.
Yeah.
But he's still there, he's still pointing in the right direction.
So we're still we got a yellow in sector 1. That's can't see anything obvious.
Not just yet. As we've taken on board with Connor in this battle as he taps the back of Simba. Hopefully that hasn't brought him any wing damage, but we'll wait to see. We'll try and wait till the camera changes and see if we get a view of that front wing.
Yeah, so if you're O'Fatch, you pit now, you're going to come out 3rd on the... no, you might come out just in front of Gene Genie at the moment. If you're Jacob, you're almost talking... You're probably going to come out in that battle of Connor, Simba, and it's probably not where you want to be right now.
Yeah, very true. I mean, those guys also have to pit. We've got Gene Genie on 10 lap old intermediates. We've got Simba on 12, Connor on 14. Simba had that damage, of course, on lap 1. And that goes back to the question of can they make them last to the end? Someone like Gene Genie, they're 10 laps old. He pitted on lap 5, so he had 21 laps to go on them. Simba, even earlier. Can he make them last? Man, they're in 7th. Can't be discounted. He's caught up with these guys big time now. So, he's got 8 lap old, so he pitted on lap 8, lap 7, lap 8. Can't be discounted as well. We've still got Tomo, who's pulled himself back up the order, which is great driving from Tomo after that drive-through. Really unfortunate. When as soon as the safety car came out, didn't notice his delta. As actually, as we mentioned, Tomo's is gone. Simba's gone in as well.
So Fatch will need to serve a 5-second penalty at his pit stop. So Jacobs
also
now dropped.
has one, doesn't he? I think.
Yeah, he's got that 5 seconds. So
no, he doesn't. Jacob didn't actually get 5 seconds. Sorry, we've just bought it up there.
Fatch.
So he's only got. Yeah, Fatch got the 5 seconds. Usually the game will give you both 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And it hasn't given it to Jacob. No. So Jacob won't. So technically there is only 4 seconds
between them.
Obviously, Jacob still got the 3-second time penalty. And it's unfortunately fallen away a little bit at the moment. So, but again, he'll know that Dumas Hornet isn't in the immediate vicinity. He's not. Yep. It won't be on his timing screen because they only show the couple down from that. So he'll see Guy, Genie, and potentially Connor on there. Yeah. He knows he's getting points. Does he play that percentage game? And say, right, I'm still gaining points on him. They've got to look at the long game, the championship.
Yep, and I think you're right. You've got to take that. Is there any?
Does as he pits, as he boxes? No, he's had enough.
Yeah,
and he's been done for 5 seconds speeding in the pit lane. We saw him there locking up, getting all kind of sideways on the entrance into it. He's going to be kicking himself.
He will do.
So he's going to serve that straight away. No, he doesn't. it just lets him go.
No. Maybe a bit too, maybe literally too late in the day to calculate it. But so he's now 8 seconds.
Yeah, with Thatcher's still got to serve his penalty. So, you know, we've said this many times. Instances under safety cars can potentially be looked at by the stewards afterwards. Speeding in the pit lane, unfortunately, that's just a slam dunk. That is on the driver, and I know Jacob will be kicking himself. He was really looking forward to a good, strong race. He's still having it. He'll still gain points over his championship rival as it stands. He's just going to really be pushing now. He's got those fresh intermediates. He'll get them up to temperature and be back on the chase.
So, it's an interesting one. So I just Googled it because I wasn't quite sure. If it's a wet race, so obviously dry race you need to use the 2 compounds. If it goes wet, you don't. Would anyone be brave enough to try and go the whole race without pitting?
I don't think the game allows you to do that. I don't think it gives you the life in the tyres to do it. It's something that I've thought it's definitely been mentioned before. I think in the last game on commentary and elsewhere. It would be ideal to do. It would be be interesting to do. But unfortunately, I don't think the game allows you to do it. We're having a few comments, and I think it's something I did notice it at the corner of my eye, but I wasn't unsure, and it's been confirmed. The pit lane speed limit board has actually been taken out. So someone on the way into this, so that could have caught Jacob out of not knowing where the white line is, which is where that's gone. And Joyful Hell now as well, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So someone in their haste and eagerness to get into the pits has actually inadvertently taken the board out, and now it's causing havoc.
Exactly, and we know, I think it was in Austria as well, certain boards were taken out going into turn 4, so...
Yeah, there were. You're right, as we ride on board now with Fragile Tunnel. The 2 Aston Martins now line astern, 7th and 8th. Good points for them so far. We've got Fanning only a second back as well, and then Nico in 10th. Obviously, Carl and Fanning pitting early to negate the undercut from Nico. Now gets a 3-second time penalty himself. There's only Dumas Hornet and Luke Shard as Fragile Tunnel goes really wide and loses the back end nearly, and that's allowed Fanning to go past into 8th place. Taking advantage.
And Tomo and Simba. Tomo's just Simba braked what looks like that little bit earlier coming into Village, and Tomo wasn't expecting it, just tipped around slightly on Dumas Hornet up to 12th.
Yeah, we're now on board with Tomo. He's recovered and pointing in the right direction. Can't see at this point if there's any damage to his wing. Of course, in the wet, it's affected even more than it would be in the dry.
Yep.
So now there was a Red Bull gone sideways there. I think, unfortunately, that was Joyful Hell.
Yeah, just come
backwards.
Yeah, just in Luffield. So looking at it, so Jacob's pitted. He's the first of the top 3 that have pitted. So in effect, he's running second on the road because when O'Fatch pits 30 odd seconds, they'll bring him out in front. You got Genie who's now running 4th, but will take 3rd essentially after the pit stops. Connor's still to stop as well.
Yeah, looking at that actually, I'm looking at O'Fatch's gap, and we say it's about a 37-ish second pit stop. Jacob Jones is about 38 seconds back, so it's going to be quite close between those two guys.
Is it 30? Is it 30? It's 37 miles an hour. Is it 30 seconds? I think they lose roughly. Maybe 30.
It might be 30. Might be. I think about 35. Now again, I'm just going to go back to this stops. Guy and O'Fatch and Connor as well have not pitted.
Yeah. And
there's only 7 laps left to go as we're on board with Dumas Hornet, and it was all over the back of Simba in 11th and 12th place. As unfortunately Morgan there gets another 3-second time penalty. He was having a good race to start, and he's now slipped back to 16th, unfortunately. Tell you what, how can you do those lap times? That's fantastic from O'Fatch.
It's almost just like every single lap is going that slightly bit quicker, a bit more confidence. The tyres are warmer. It doesn't look like there's any grip being lost.
I was about to mention, it doesn't seem that there's any degradation in those intermediate tyres. A lot of drivers have taken that and pitted. As we're on board, Dumasson pushing Simba through cops almost. Nose to tail, that was incredible. Almost like they were latched onto each other.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just me, it looks a bit brighter in the skies as well.
It does look like the rain's easing on the string. It does look that way. I must agree with you. And we've got Dumasson. Is he going to go around the outside into Stowe? He's not, as Simba. Good defensive driving, but we've still got him into the last corner. Is he going to make a move? He's right on board. He isn't. He's going to knows that it's a bit tricky to get the car stopped in these wet conditions, but we're riding on board with him, and now we can see the rain does seem to have eased somewhat. There's even sparks being thrown up from Simba's Williams through there as we go into turn 1, and there's a definite wet patch through there though. As you see the spray off the back of the Williams being thrown up as Dumasson says contact, and Dumasson it is round. Has that affected Simba? He's managed to keep going. But Dumasson he tried to go, we're riding on board, and he tried to have a bit of a sniff. I think possibly Simba was a little bit slow through there. Obviously, not going to comment too much on that. We don't know, of course, on board with Simba.
We've got
making
Nico
sure the line
up the inside of Fanning on the old pit straight, unless he's going to be into cops.
We're riding on board, and he's backed out.
And
Fanning's gone very wide, and they're going to be riding on board again. They're on board, going into Maggot, and Beckett Fanning still manages to stay ahead. Again, fantastic clean driving between the two of them. Very respectful, but now Nico took a tighter line onto the hanger straight. He's already in the slipstream right under the rear wing. He's pulled out already to the inside. Fanning hasn't defended it, but he's going to go ahead. Nearly contact again. And Fanning went shortcut a little bit and then went wide as well, trying to keep as much speed as he possibly could to battle with Nico.
I'll tell you what, Gini's putting the softs on.
Is it a crossover phase? Is there a crossover phase?
Now, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to sit on board with him because
you've got to follow that. I'm going through turn 1 with Fanning at the moment, and it does seem too wet for the soft tyres. But
I was going to say, Mark. Sorry, I was going to say because about a lap ago, I was on board with Winky, and he was coming through Abbey and Farm, and he literally lost the back end in aquaplanes through the loop in Village. So. I'm on with Gini just now. There's not a lot of grip as he goes through Village. Dumas Hornet and Tomo have just passed them.
As now it looks like Tomo and Dumas Hornet, they are really fighting. So Dumas Hornet didn't lose a whole lot of time. He's now in 12th. Simba up into the top 10 after Gini has pitted.
Yeah.
And we're going to go up shortly to follow Jacob Jones. He was 7 seconds further back from Gagai. Now only 3 seconds as Gini gets multiple warnings for penalties. I don't think there's a grip, unfortunately, on the soft tyres.
No. I'll tell you what, so O'Fatch, Gagai and Connor have still not pitted. So we're talking 4 laps to go. So they're either being very brave and go...
Gini's lost it. Gini has, unfortunately. We're just going to ride on board with Morgan. And he's coming through.
Winky's around as well.
Poor Winky, he's not having the greatest race so far. There's a yellow, not sure where Gini's lost it. We're riding on board still with Morgan, and it's Mustard's car must have gone. Gini took a gamble, took a risk, unfortunately didn't pay off, so we're watching Fragile Tunnel on the back now, still with Fanning.
Yeah, and you know what, I tip my hat to all of these drivers for those that have driven in the wet or drying conditions. If we go back to Brazil for Tier 3, for instance, it is not easy at all, and we have seen some great racing.
Sorry to cut across you, Fanning went very wide, and Fragile did have a sniff, but decided to back out of it and thought better for another day.
Dumas Hornets round again, marked at Village.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him. He's, again, challenging for the championship. You'll know that Jacob's up there where he has been all race.
Between actually him and Dumas Hornet and Red Car going down the Wellington Straight right now. just as Thomas Hornet was recovering.
Yeah, red car up to 12. He's up 6 positions from the start. Fragile Tunnel up 11. Man in the other McLaren. Great race so far from him. He was battling with Carl. Unfortunately, got the ghost of Mercedes there of Luke Shard, who unfortunately left the session. And now his car just going round in a ghost. And but yeah, great running from Man. So unfortunately gets a 3-second penalty. I'll say that. We need to stop doing this commentator's card.
I was about to say, I mean, we were talking about who was going to go onto the dry tyres. Was it a gamble? Gini did it and went round, and now we're talking about time penalties. But again, we'll get the guy, Fatch, still out there.
I don't think they'll pit now. There's no need for them to pit now. You know, Fatch has got a 39-second gap. Yeah, you know, he could cruise round now, not worry about the understeer. You know, it's Guy and Jacob that we're on board with at the moment. We're going to look at the potential penalties. There's only 2 seconds between them there, between Guy and Jacob. So if Jacob's closing, which he is closing at some rate of knots at the moment, you know, he's still got 3 laps left after this. He can see the Ferrari ahead of him, as we saw in that shot there. There is potential for Jacobs to really take that. As he gets another 3-second time penalty, we're on board. DRS is also enabled, so it is now dry enough.
So it's too late, though. This is the problem. It's now too late to even, if you take the gamble, we're actually just watching Carl and Man.
Carl and Man, we've just run on board with that as well as Man seems, and they're going side by side into Maggotts and Beckett's. Carl stays ahead. Little squeeze on the apex, but good, respectful racing there. Man is now, well, I don't know if we'll have to see if it activates this lap or next, and it has activated. Man now has the DRS.
Is he going to go into Stowe?
He is. He's pulled to the inside. And he does make that move as he managed to slow it down enough. Carl gets the switch back. Is he going to get... We're going to ride back on board with Carl, who does get the switch back and keeps that position in 5th. This, I think, is going to be a very close battle. There's now Jacob Jones in a second again of Guy. He's going to have the DRS down the Wellington straight.
So everyone running, bar from Luke Chard down in 16th, has penalties. Largest being Jacob on Winky's on 15, Stubbs on 12, Jacob's on 11. But if he's got enough pace, Jacob, that if he gets past Guy and he's just
he's moving now into Woodcote very early. Must have got a fantastic drive out of Luffield there. So now, what can he do in a lap and a half? We'll keep our eyes on that gap because he went very deep there. Guy right on his rear wing. He's going to also get DRS as Jacob's defending for all he's worth, trying to get a good drive out. But Guy also gets a good drive. He's opened the DRS now down as Jacob stays to the right. He's going to force him to go the long way around. He doesn't. He moves to the left in time. And that was a little bit close.
Yeah.
But Guy just a bit far back. Did put his nose in there, make Jacob think about it.
I mean, if you're Guy, you almost have to take now the risk versus reward, right? If you can stay within 5 seconds of Jacob, you're going to finish second. As commentator's curse is going to happen again, but...
Yeah, I'm going to cut away from that action. I'm not going to lie. I've cut away from the action. We're going to go back onto a really close as Fragile Tunnel now gets another 3-second time penalty. We just cut on board. But he has the DRS on the second. The other Ferrari now of Fanning down the Wellington Straight. We've got one more go at it.
Guy's just run slightly wide coming out of the loop. He's about 2 seconds now behind Jacob.
Yes, Jacob's going to be pushing, as we know, as he has been all race. As we're on board, Fragile Tunnel, this is probably one of the closest battles. We've got Dumas Hornet actually right at the back of Red Car Rambo as well. But this for 7th and 8th in the points. Dumas Hornet does get past Red Car Rambo. No, they're battling side by side by the looks of it. On the timing screens, Dumas Hornet's dropped a little bit. Did he have a moment? As we've seen Fanning go wide, but he'll have the inside line. He does. There was no room there. Parks at the apex for Fragile Tunnel, but Fragile Tunnel will get the drive. We're on board with him. He's going to have the DRS as well. As we heard the beep, the rear wing opens.
So Guy's 4.3 now behind Jacob, and he's just coming through the Maggotts Beckett. So Jacob knows he just needs to keep it clean and just keep going for it. That pace is really good.
Yeah, needs half a second. Dumas Hornet looks like he's gone round again. He's now down to 14th. Fragile Tunnel runs wide as he was battling with Fanning. There's only 3/10. We're going to go up to Orfatch, obviously on the last lap of the race. Now that gap with Jacob Jones is now over. It's about the 5-second window.
Guy's just run wide into club. It's unfortunate. He's obviously not pitted. They are the tyres they started the race on. They just look like they have given up their life.
Yeah, you can see there's not much spare now getting up. He's going to be put off by that lapped Haas driver as well. That could potentially be Winky, maybe. Unlapping himself, and that is just going to really put him up. As you can see, he just went really wide there. And he's just losing time, hand over fist to Jacob. But we're going to ride on board of Simba, and Fragile Tunnel still battling away. Actually, no, Fragile Tunnel's lost the place, to Simba. He was battling with Fanning beforehand, and now Simba gets past. Now, there's 3 seconds difference in the penalties. So as long as Fragile Tunnel can stick within 3 seconds of Simba, he will get that place back at the end. But now, these guys in the fast lap, we're going to go on board with Orfatch as he rounds the last corner. He qualified on pole. He led every lap, did not look. He didn't even pit.
He didn't
The
pit.
guy's fantastic. What a great race from Orfatch. Was untroubled. He had a Jacob for a company at the start. Didn't pit, made those tyres last all the way. Fantastic race from Orfatch, deserved winner. So right now we go down to Jacob Jones. He'll be over the moon with this.
He will be.
He will be. He took that. He's got the speeding in the pit lane. He's got the penalties that he's got, and to be second on a day where the track looks dry right now, and to finish second, he extends his lead over Dumas Hornet by 18 points. Crossing line guy, so close to being, and still a podium finish, so he'd be happy. Could have been a bit closer. Had a good battle with Jacob, but
definitely.
Podium place for him.
And then, interestingly, Nico Lack, fastest lap, just gone into the top 10. He's on the softs. He took the gamble at the end.
Well, Nico's now in 10th.
Yeah, so we'll get that point for 10th and point for fastest lap.
He will, yeah. So we're getting a few. So Connor in 4th, Carl Edens with 5th. He'll be happy with that result.
Yes.
Man, was fantastic race from him. Qualified quite a way down and now finishes in 6th. Fanning in 7th. Simba in 8th. Tomo 222 had the drive-through penalty. He was running in 3rd. Unfortunately, got the drive-through in 9th. Takes 10th, Nico, with the penalties. Red Car Rambo in 11th. He'll still be happy with that. Unfortunate to finish outside the points. And then Fragile Tunnel, unlucky. It seemed to lose all grip in his tyres. He was battling up for 7th. So, what a race. Fantastic driving from a lot of drivers. That was really interesting. Really good.
Yeah, and again, I think we have to say that in these conditions, every single driver to stay on track and deliver the driving, and the close racing was superb.
It was. A few instances, but I think with credit to the drivers, it was very slippery out there. Braking, it's difficult, so can't say anything against the drivers. We're going to go through the top order in just a moment there. As we see, the few of the drivers unfortunately did not finish penalties throughout. So, taking up the win from Orfatch, not a touch, no pit stops, and led start to finish. Jacob Jones takes 2nd place and will extend his championship lead over Dumas Hornet. Guy in 3rd in the Ferrari, great race from him. Connor in 4th in the leading Red Bull. Carl in 5th. Man in the lead, McLaren in 6th, up from 14th. Great race again from him. And Fanning in the other Ferrari in 7th. Simba in 8th. Nico Lack in 9th. And Tomo 222 in 10th. Round out your points scoring positions. Rekka Rambo in 11th. Fragile in 10th. Dumas Hornet, Stube, Luke Shard, Winky, and Joyful Hell unfortunately did not finish alongside with Genie and Da Convertible and Brogan. Great race. I think they did fantastic for having the wet weather that they always seem to get. They did fantastically well.
Definitely. Well done to all those drivers. Some great racing, some great strategy calls there as well.
There was, and we look forward to seeing you next week. We're there for round 9 in Baku, our first street circuit of the season. Thank you very much for joining me, Gav. Been a pleasure again.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Yep, and we'll see you in a week's time.
We certainly will. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you very much. Take care now. Goodbye.
Night.